So, good evening, one and all, and good evening to our speaker, Professor Tripathy. Professor Sabita Tripathy, she belongs to our university and she is part of Department of English. And she has shared her biodata with me. So I will, spell out the notable characteristics of her biodata, and then I will introduce her in my own way. Uh, I mean, as a part of English department or as a person belonging to literature, it is attractive that she published 39 research papers and she worked on 2 minor research projects and 1 major research project, and the title of that major research project is a study of Sri Aurobindo's Vande Mataram, prose writing and speeches as anti-colonial discourse. And why I spelled this title, it is because today's topic is also connected with her project. Let me tell you, I think you all know that today's topic is reapproaching the role of women in society and from Aurobindo's mind. And he has published 3 books, and she is also the editor of the Journal of Rajasthan Association of Studies in English and Journal of Sambalpur Studies, and she has been part of many academic bodies. Now, these are some of the notable characteristics of her biodata. And for me, I think the great identity of a speaker is that, recently what, she has published. And the speaker is an author of a book recently published on Sri Aurobindo's vision of women. And because of that text, I requested her to give us a talk that how to, approach or reapproach the woman or feminine quality. What is the significance of the feminine qualities? What is the role of, females, especially in society building or societal building? And in this book, she highlighted the triple dimensional role played by the woman in the society, and the topic will be introduced by my PhD scholar Santilata Sahu. In her another book, titled Tract for His Time, Sri Aurobindo's Anti-Colonial Discourse, the speaker, or we can say that the author, Professor Tripathy, has designated Aurobindo as an anti-colonial activist. And the Honorable Chancellor of Odisha, Professor Ganeshi Lal, he has appreciated the attempt of Dr. Tripathy, the Professor of English, Sambalpur University, to bring out the ideas on growth and development of human body, mind, and spirit. So this is from my side. This is all about the introduction of today's speaker. Now I request my scholar Santilata Sahu to introduce the topic. Yes, Santilata.
Good evening to all of you. Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity to introduce today's webinar topic, that is reappraising the role of women in India from Aurobindo's mind. As we all know that a variety of creditable and significant roles have been played by women from their very birth to till their death. They are like the backbone of their family and hence of their own country. And if necessary, they don't even hesitate to take up the sword to protect their family as well as their country. Therefore, women are considered as goddess in ancient history. Dedicating to the women and their contribution, there is a beautiful quote mentioned in Manusmriti, that is, यत्र नार्यस्तु पूज्यन्ते रमन्ते तत्र देवताः यत्र चास्तु न पूज्यन्ते सर्वस्तत्र फलाः क्रियाः. It means that the God or the divine resides where women are honored and respected, and when women are disrespected, all actions become unfruitful. This basically shows the importance of women. If we analyze our Vedic period, we will find women as the most valuable creation of God. They are considered as goddess or Shakti, which means a symbol of life with enormous ability for tolerance and sacrifice. And hence, they held a respectable place in society. But after Vedic period, when time goes on, we see that the condition of women in their family and society started to degrade. Women were considered as inferior to men. They were denied and even not allowed to read Vedic literature. Along with this, various societies practices against women were also practiced, which severely affected the life of women. Women were affected with various evil practices like sati system, child marriage, dowry system, parda pratha, and many the then practices. Due to this, their conditions became worse. But after Renaissance, especially with the emergence of ideologies like feminism, modernism, and different plans and programs of government like Women Helpline Scheme, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao Scheme, Mahila Shakti Kendra, and many more, now we can see that the condition of women seems to be in the process of progress. But now we can see that few women are reducing their feminine qualities and they are indulged in so many bad habits and like drinking alcohol and other criminal activities, which are not their original character. And they have started torturing their male counterpart also, which is gradually causing an imbalanced condition in society. And now we have reached in such situation where men have started disbelieving women and vice versa. The formation of society is in a jeopardized condition. So, towards the formation of society, re-establishment of the feminine qualities of women at a large extent and of men at some extent may be an attractive starting point. Therefore, remembering the valuable practices of our Vedic period is the need of the hour. In such a context, remembering Aurobindo Ghosh, who was a yogi, a philosopher, a poet of modern India, and especially his writing that is Savitri, a legend and a symbol, is most to know the inexhaustible female power. Here, he is described the story of Savitri, who was a daughter of a king of Madra named Aswapati. Aurobindo, through this writing, presented Savitri as a Shakti of Satyavan who energized the soul of Satyavan and fills his life with love and bliss. It means a woman or a wife has the power to make her family happier and stronger through her love, care, support, and sacrifice. And secondly, Aurobindo described Savitri as Bhavani. Bhavani means the mother of strength. It means she can rise above her ordinary self and transform herself into Bhavani through her determined will, strength, and courage. So, from this, we learn that an ordinary woman can also develop her capability and become a Bhavani through her deterministic will, capacity, and strength, and she can empower herself. Thirdly, Aurobindo considered women of Savitri as Mahasakti, meaning the divine mother, who rescued her husband from the god of death, that is Yamraj, through her purity, determination, truth, and belief. To Aurobindo, women are the spiritual force of God at work, and this enrichment of understanding is not possible until the society becomes aware of its own innate spiritual existence. So, women certainly need more space, not only in the dead space of laws and regulations, but in the human heart of men too. Thank you, sir.
So thank you, Shantilata. I hope it's a very, brilliant way of introducing the topic. Now I welcome our speaker, Professor Tripathi, to start her deliberation on this topic. Yes, madam, you can continue.
Thank you.
Everything
Thank
is
you,
yours.
Himanshu, for introducing me so warmly to my students. Thank you, Santilata, uh, who spoke so well about Sabitri and the feminine power that without studying Aurobindo also, she has learned a lot about the feminine power that has been displayed by Sri Aurobindo in his epic Sabitri. Dear friends, we are now passing through a very, very, blessed moment, that is Azadi Ki Amrit Mahotsav. And this is the 150th birth anniversary of Sri Aurobindo as well as Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. So our Honorable Prime Minister of India, who has a dream of Vasudeva Kutumbakam, as well as who is celebrating all over our India, Azadi Ki Amrit Mahotsav, and it is a right time. It is the right time when we should pay our tribute to Sri Aurobindo by discussing his ideas regarding the feminine power. Dear friends, I'm not speaking as a feminist, or I'm not applying any theory to approach Sri Aurobindo's mind. I'm speaking about the feminine power. These days, we are finding so many cases which are pending in the court of law, and where there is no such solution is provided to solve the problem at the family level. So women in the society, they play a very vital role in changing the time, and join karbo bole kar debo, changing the time. So they have a power of reformation, because it is only women who can bring change in this world. You see, you must have read the life history of Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo was identified earlier as an activist, a freedom fighter, and his English education has trained him to be brave enough to raise his voice against the British Indian government. So, of course, they are all, we can talk about Vivekananda, Sri Aurobindo, Mahatma Gandhi, Rabindranath Tagore, all those great people, those who have contributed a lot for this Azadi or freedom. We must pay tribute by such lectures and by such writings. So I deem it to be an honor to speak today, at least to my students, about his approach towards women. You see, Sri Aurobindo's approach towards women has changed uh, in different phases of his life. So, in his writings, in his literary creation, he has made different types of interpretation of female characters in his plays, in his poetry, and he's a great literary artist. And many people must not have known about his artistic creation, the literary creation. A number of plays he has written. For example, Rodagon, Basavadatta, then Perseus the Deliverer, So many, I just named a few. And the world famous largest epic, that is Savitri, 24,000 lines. So when you will study all these writings of Sri Aurobindo, you will definitely get a link among all the writings. How he has presented women as Sakti, Bhavani, and Mahasakti, and how a woman plays this triple dimensional role in the society with the passage of time. In many of Sri Aurobindo's major literary works, the title itself suggests the great importance given to the heroine, that is Sabitri, Rodagon, Basavadatta, Chitrangada, Ulupoi. So a major intention means his major intention is to reveal the grand feminine power. So his portrayal of heroines in his writings that highlights Sri Aurobindo's intention of bringing out the overriding power of women. Women have that overriding, unique consciousness. All those difficulties which come on the way of women, they overcome. We can, you must have felt, because many of you are women only joined this program, except perhaps Himansu, all of us are women. So it is praising women, like not praising, but I'm just try my best to highlight certain points which will help you in leading a very comfortable, peaceful life in the society. And not only you will change, you have that changing capability, and this will develop when you will, because most of you are student of literature, and that literature helps us to uh, I mean cure the disease. It doesn't teach you how to endure. There is solution to all kinds of problem in literature. That's why I must highlight today in front of you that what is the idea about the woman as Sakti, Bhavani, and Mahasakti. So the woman is not only a material being. She's not at all an embodiment of physical entity, because we find in the writings of Sri Aurobindo, he presents two typical aspects of female consciousness. And what are they? Woman is Sakti, that is a Sakti of a man, or a partner to a man, or a wife to a man. He enlivens and invigorates the man's life. He helps all the family members. So, as Sakti of a man, she only works in a limited sphere, working for family and family members. She supports them. But when the sphere of work increases, she transforms herself to Bhavani type of woman. And as Bhavani, what she did, she not only protects the family, she also protects the people around her. She helps the state. She helps. I mean, we have found, for example, I will give the best example of a Bhavani type woman is Rani Lakshmi Bai. I mean, the country becomes a very important aspect of life in the life of Bhavani type of women. They work for a much bigger sphere, and they work for the benefit of the people. They work for the benefit of the society. So, what we find here, to see her, I mean, the psychic relationship between man and woman is more important than the physical relationship. When we come to a kind of, uh, um, women working as Shakti, we find that the psychic, or what I am talking about, consciousness. I mean, woman, the feminine power for Sri Aurobindo is a type of consciousness, a psychic relationship. So, physical relationship or that biological relationship is redundant here. So, in true sense, what we find, Sri Aurobindo's idea of different level of consciousness, woman is thought of manifesting her power and consciousness in different ways. Sri Aurobindo's conception of woman changed as he gained varied experiences in life. In his view, feminine consciousness manifests itself as Shakti of man and as Bhavani for the society. So, woman as Ardhangini is the Shakti of man. He is elan vital. A Shakti of man, she enlivens and supports the man and man's family, no doubt. She brings love, bliss, and a complete fulfillment in the house of uh, her family, her in-laws' family. She rescues her husband from frustration and loneliness. How? By providing some kind of inspiration to live a better life, by providing solace. We find all these characteristics in this Shakespearean heroine too. And also we find the characteristic of this feminine power in Beatrice. Dante saw Beatrice and wrote Life Divine. So this is the power of the feminine consciousness. So woman's, power is unlimited. And woman always takes a vow to perform her duty perfectly in the society. And the first duty is to guard the future humanity. When the woman is working in a much bigger universal sphere, guarding or saving the humanity, like Sabitri, who brought the life of Satyavan from the clutches of Jama or death, she becomes Mahasat, which is impossible for us, not which is possible, but we need to do that sadhana. And because you see the whatever amount of power that is vested within us by our birth, that can be elevated to a level of spiritual level of consciousness through the process of our sadhana, yogic sadhana. You see, that's why Sri Aurobindo has also introduced the idea of integral yoga in the life of every man and woman, because he, like George Bernard Shaw, had dreamt about the concept of supermanhood. He talks about evolution like Darwin. He says man will evolve into a supreme being, and for that we need a preparation. I'll give you a simple example from the book of Savitri, which Sri Aurobindo has written. There, Satyavan, you see, Savitri relinquishes all her comforts and pleasure of a princess to accompany Satyavan to the forest. And there, knowing fully well from Narada that life of Satyavan is very limited. He will die within a year. Still then, she said, she said, once a woman chooses not again. So whatever may be the destiny pronounced by Narada, she has followed her path like an Ardhangini. So what she did, she performed a Triratra Brata. That's why all women of our Odisha particularly, they perform Sabitri Brata, married women. Why? For the benefit of their husband, for the long life of their husband, for a healthy life of the husband. So all these things, the brata means fasting, worship, and following certain rituals that strengthens the inner soul of the woman, and that makes her so powerful that Savitri, by the process of this type of experiences, just before the death of Satyavan, 3 days before Satyavan's death, she performed all these rituals and she could save her life from the clutches of Jama. How she saves, I will talk. This is another philosophical thing. Ashwapati's yoga is very important, because this Savitri book which Sri Aurobindo has written, this is not an ordinary book. This is absolutely based on some kind of spiritual enlivenment. I mean, it increases the value of life on earth, which transcends all kinds of limitations. That is death also. And very few are there like Mahasakti. And they are born, they are avatars, they descend on earth. They are the supramental manifestation of God. And they come with a definite idea or instruction which is to be carried out on this earth by women. So that is Mahasakti type of women. So what we find, when we are discussing about the Sakti and Bhavani type of women, we find that the Sakti and Bhavani type of women, they basically even the Mahasakti, the Savitri also goes to the extent of sacrificing her comfort, her joy in life, to bring prosperity for her husband, as well as for his family. So as a Sakti, by her grand power of love and compassion, she becomes transforming agent. Woman as a transforming agent. We have studied Rosalind, and we have also studied Desdemona in Shakespearean plays. So what we find that the women sometimes they work as transforming agent in the life of man. And woman is Bhavani, delivers people from evil, ignorance, bondage, injustice, and cruelty. Also tortured and suffering. All kinds of, uh, um, attack that goes on in the society. Bhavani type women they're belligerent by spirit. They have warrior spirit. They can protest against such type of activities, injustice in the world. The bigger of the sphere for a woman, the woman gets automatic Sakti to fight against all these evil things of the world. Maybe, she becomes selfless. She believes in selfless sacrifice. But as Bhavani, she also doesn't hesitate to carry weapon or ammunitions in her hand to fight against some evil doers of the society. So the basis of this feminine power is the woman's love for man. What I want to emphasize here, which is a great force in the world. Love is the hidden force, the creative and generative power which binds entire universe. Love is the occult force and spiritual urge that binds man and the universe to God. In Sri Aurobindo's futuristic scheme of the divinization of manhood, selfless love has to play a significant role. Love should not get confined to sex or any physical relationship or any kind of animality. It should transcend the baser human passion so that it can transform the world into a better place of peace, happiness, and bliss. And when I'm talking about bliss, you must have heard, my dear friends, there is a concept of Ladini Shakti, Radha power. You know, we always think that Radha and Krishna, they are presented as lovers, but actually the Radha power is something. They have a some kind of love at a higher level which we cannot reach. So Sri Aurobindo talks about that Hladini Shakti, Alladini Shakti, the Radha power. So the Hladini aspect of Shakti as the woman role as Shakti, the divine joy, the Radha power that conquereth everything. And all aspects of man's lower nature, such as envy, hatred, doubt, and disbelief, jealousy, lust, anger, whatever it means, all egoistic desire, sense of possession, sense of, what type, sense of hate, this develop. When you get married, there will be no hatred. But as the life proceeds, you will find that we are having such problems in our life. Whom to blame? The homemaker or homebreaker? Who are these homemakers? Who are these homebreakers? Why there is so much of divorce, so much of contractual marriages? So our society, which is passing through this crisis, we are not westernized yet fully. So we have to understand the alchemical power that is involved in love. And love can only establish universal brotherhood. This individual love will expand, and this will give rise to a kind of universal brotherhood on this earth. And absolutely, I can emphasize on this aspect of Sri Aurobindo's idea that it will ultimately lead to the establishment of life divine on earth. This is the dream of Sri Aurobindo. I mean, through the process of this refinement of living together, bringing a blissful life, of course, we can overcome all those difficulties which are coming on our way. So the essence of Sri Aurobindo's this idea of bringing divinity or divine love and beauty or ananda or Hladini Shakti or Radha power, whatever he is talking about, he speaks everything in the synthesis of yoga, another book. And this is, life divine can only be established through this process of integral yoga. So I must speak about the synthesis yoga, where he presents the mystery of relationship between divine love and human love. I quote a line from the synthesis yoga where he says, "Love is the hope of the gods' hearts to combine." This is a powerful uh, dictum of Sri Aurobindo, which he also uses in the plays and minor romances. So in Sabitri, I can also quote one line from Sabitri: "Love is the bright link between heaven and earth." Some of prose writings, which Himanshu was highlighting about the tracts for his time, where a lot of colonialism and anti-colonial discourse are there. The level of freedom fighting, how women they joined this freedom fighting. Sri Aurobindo, first of all, he decided to call India as mother. No other freedom fighter ever has visualized India as in a mother form. That she is mother. Our mother is in bondage. If your mother is being attacked by some uh, evil, I mean those who the British, if your mother is attacked by some kind of uh, people who sit on the breast of the mother and will be torturing the mother, what you will do? You will kill. You will kill them. So think that first of all, we must understand that our motherland is our mother. And when Sri Aurobindo said mother, then only that awareness of belongingness came among the people of India. And he insisted that women, unless women join this freedom movement, that Gandhiji also did. Kasturiba, Kasturiba Gandhi, she joined, she brought a lot of women. Gandhi said that this is, going to the root and bringing them out and then go on an expedition. A total, expedition in search of this independent India that has not occurred by one man. All of them have contributed to many things. That's why this motherhood idea came to his mind. That's why he wrote Bhavani Mandir. How he will bring Bhavani, that she is Bhavani, and the Bhavani will give you power. The woman will give you power. So this idea is also there in my other book, that is the Tracts for His Time. How he had discussion and differences of opinion with Lal Bal and Pal, and all that is a political thing. So some of his writing, prose writings, I want to highlight, particularly his letters to Mrinalini Devi. Mrinalini Devi is his wife. And there are a number of letters he has written. You see, after having English education, he came to India and wanted to get married to an Indian, that in a Bengali family. So he advertised to get married to a Bengali woman. So what happened? You see, look at the attraction. Means knowingly, fully well, he failed in the ICS examination. He was not interested to go for any type of administrative job. He came and joined in Baroda as a lecturer. So what happened? You see, Aurobindo had a strong liking for his motherland. From childhood, his father Krishnadhan Ghosh, he sent him to Britain for studies. From childhood, he was separated from his mother. So in his prose writings, he has narrated certain things which are just like the letters which Milton has written to his wife. Not exactly letters, but they are pamphlets. These are also pamphlets. And the Milton, when wrote to Mary Powell left Milton and she was thinking to divorce Milton, John Milton, the poet of Paradise Lost. That's why Milton wrote a series of pamphlets, prose pamphlets, and where he has mentioned about marriage and divorce. And after reading all these, Mary Powell comes back to Milton. Likewise, Sri Aurobindo has also written a number of letters to Mrinalini Devi, where he has mentioned, your husband is a mad fellow, follow her. See, he has an intention, and follow him like a mad woman. You are the Sakti of your husband, so you have to follow your husband. And Mrinalini Devi failed to support Sri. So when you will read this, you will understand. Means she said that she wanted some type of a family life. She had no intention to join the freedom movement. So you must be knowing that Sri Aurobindo has a lot of madness of to free India, to bring awareness. British Indian government wanted to kill him. In that Alipur jail case, he was imprisoned. He was acquitted. Then he pursued his writing. Another prose book is the Bhavani Mandir, and another prose writing is the Mother. All these prose writings, they throw light on this concept of feminine power. After obtaining higher education in England, Sri Aurobindo returned to India in 1893 as thoroughly anglicized young man. And his relationship with his wife, whom he loved and respected as his Shakti, could not follow him in his freedom struggle like a mad fellow devoutly performing Stri Dharma. Here, Stri Dharma is very important. When you are Ardhangini, your duty is to follow the Stri Dharma. And according to him, marriage is not only unites two bodies, but joins two hearts and minds also. The wife discharges several functions together, those of mother, sister, counselor, and companion. Man's duty is to choose his own vocation and field of action, but it is his wife who assists him, encourages him, and rejuvenates his strength. Sri Aurobindo expected his wife to follow him and play this role as Sahadharmini or Dhangini, as following the Sri Dharma, but she couldn't do that. That's why during his revolutionary period, we find that Sri Aurobindo categorically points out in that letters to Minalini that woman is man's power and force to act and help in his life, in his vision, in his mission. If a woman withdraws her love and fellowship, man becomes lonely, powerless, like without Shakti, Shiva is Sava, and loses moorings of his life too. Absence of her love creates a void, a death in life in man, and becomes very, very difficult to reinvigorate again. It is very difficult. I mean, you will find either the man will pass through depression or some kind of, uh, lifeless, lifeless activities. Hence, we find Sri Aurobindo goes to the extent of observing that a wife should provide fellowship at any cost and follow the path. What is that path? It is your dharma. Follow the path of a woman. Follow the path of the husband which he wants, even though he neglects his family in the interest of a greater cause. Sri Aurobindo was working for the country, for a greater cause, the greater good of the people. So when, if at all, your husband is neglecting, because she thought that she has been neglected. So Sri Aurobindo writes in that letters that you have to follow your dharma, Sri Dharma. And I am in a path, it's a much bigger path and a greater path. I'm working for the humanity. So please follow me. Instead of sitting at a corner, weeping, and speaking that your husband has neglected you, the wife should join her insane husband in his wrong and become devoted to his cause for the cause for which he is working. Just like Gandhari, he has also given an example of Gandhari. By tying her eyes, she also became blind like Dhritarashtra. So whatever, there was no differences of opinion in between Mrinalini Devi and Sri Aurobindo. But Mrinalini said, sir, I can't follow you because I have my own feelings. If you are working for the community, for the humanity, for freedom, I can't follow you like a mad woman. So the rise and fall of her fortune, he said at that moment, gets inextricably linked with her husband's goal in life. Look at this point, when he said that your life is tied to me, your mind is tied to me. So see, when Sri Aurobindo was thinking at a psychic level, maybe Mrinalini Devi is very, very mundane, earthly, and just a simple woman like us who wanted a happy family life. So Mrinalini Devi could not join Sri Aurobindo. That's a very pathetic decision. And Sri Aurobindo pursued his dream. He said that the freedom movement is very crucial for him. Of course, women will join in this freedom movement, and there will be a lot of change will take place in the society. Mary Powell comes back, but Mrinalini Devi, after reading all these pamphlets also, she didn't come back. Another revolutionary pamphlet is the Bhavani Mandir, and in the Bhavani Mandir, like the Bankim Chandra's Anand Mat, you have read. This is a very, very interesting book where we find the sannyasis, a group of sannyasis, they uh, they fight against the British government. They had arms in their hands, even sannyasis. So Sri Aurobindo was very much influenced by this idea of Bankim Chandra's Anand Mat. So he wrote the Bhavani Mandir, and which illuminates another aspect of his radical view of women's power. This pamphlet was brought to limelight by the Rowlatt Committee. Sri Aurobindo probably derived this conception of the scheme of constructing a temple of goddess of Bhavani from Anand Mat. Subscribing to the age-old system of the mother worship or the mother cult worship, mother worship cult, whatever you can think, in India, Sri Aurobindo conceives of Bhavani as the mother of strength, the pure Shakti, and Indians as the children of the mother Bhavani are called upon to work together for her sake to make India free from the shackles of British rule. To him, the country is not merely a geographical entity. She is a living mother, what I told you. And also, we have heard in our Uriya dictum, Janani Janma Bhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi. So both the female worship or feminine power is being worshipped here. India as human mother is known as Shakti of the nation and named by him as Bhavani Bharati later on. Aurobindo called Bhavani Bharati. So the Shakti, Bhavani Bharati, all these terminologies he has used. These are this is the living entity of the millions of people of India. The mother in that particular prose work, the mother in which Sri Aurobindo has written about Mira Richard, who came to Pondicherry. Her husband, Paul Richard, came to that particular Pondicherry because Sri Aurobindo, after this Alipur jail, Alipur bomb blast case, um, he thought to, when he was acquitted, he thought that he has certain other works to do, spiritual awakenment for the entire humanity. So he went to French territory so that the British government or British cannot do any harm to Sri Aurobindo. There she opened one ashram, and in that ashram, few of the sadhakas, they were all following yoga, and they were leading a very ascetic life. Uh, what we received from this idea when Mira Richard came, she has activated that particular ashram and made it very, if we find that she is the Ichha Shakti, she is the creation of all good things in the ashram. And she was, the concept of the mother came into the mind of Sri Aurobindo after finding Mira Richard, who is working for the Indians and for not only Indians but entire humanity, and she has certain special power, feminine power within her. So this particular book, The Mother of Sri Aurobindo Ashram, Pondicherry, also emphasizes his idea of nation as Shakti in an article in that mother, it is published, Soul of India. In that article, which was published in 1947, he has published this article that he said that woman is the soul of India. Feminine power is the soul of India. Because without feminine power, the earth cannot progress. So maybe several biological reasons are there, but still then some kind of uh, changes what he has brought uh, in the ashram, means Mira Richard brought in the ashram, that has changed the life of all those ashramites. So that's why the concept of Mahasakti, Sri Aurobindo considers the mother as the uh, Mahasakti type of woman, the divine incarnation. God sent the divine mother to earth for the benefit of the children, and that's why we have the Pondicherry ashram. So my point is not technologically. I don't want to prove you that this is an object and it has some power. If this object it pushes the other object, there will be an equal and opposite reaction. I'm just emphasizing on this idea of the living human cult, that each woman has certain hidden power, and they must understand that. What is that? That is Adya Shakti, because that Shakti was from the beginning when the spirit is born. So we can talk about the Brahma also. The Brahma is the ocean of spiritual force. And what we see, if you read the book of John Odroff, the book is Tantra. There he has mentioned many things regarding this Shakti, Bhavani, and Mahasakti concept. There, I'm very surprised to read the book John Odroff during my PhD program. You see how a foreigner, how an outsider has understood the feminine power of India and wrote the book, had studied Tantra so well, so clearly. What the people of India at the time of struggle for independence needed most was Shakti, support. And that's why, our Prime Minister of India, he has protected many seats, reserved many seats for women. Because without women, you will find that the proper idea that cannot be the idea of politics, the idea of literature, idea of science that cannot be implemented properly. C is the process of implementation. Brahma wanted to create world. Brahma cannot create. The Ichha Shakti has to create. C is the feminine. And so this is something very interesting when I found that the entire world is revolving around the concept of that Adi Shakti, the Parashakti, that is the feminine consciousness. So this is a type of interpretation I have made in front of you, and I must tell you, so long we are amidst certain problems in the society. When there is some kind of the ego problem comes, we must try to dissolve as quickly as possible. In this quote, and recently you must have seen in the TV, the Anubhav and Barsa, the court refused to accept the divorce proposal. Why? Why such things are? Yes, one day will come when there will be an eternal verdict. Even if you will be thinking of separating yourself from a system, from a person, from a family, law will not allow you. Perhaps at that moment we can feel that we have received or reached the level of supermanhood. The process of evolution that will come through. This process of spiritual awakenment and considering entire society and human life from the spiritual point of view, what actually ultimately the dimension moves towards a kind of spiritual manifestation on earth. And that's why Sri Aurobindo perhaps has written Sabitri at the end, where symbolically he has presented Sabitri as one of the important, the concept of feminine, the refined consciousness, refined feminine consciousness, who can even bring out her husband from the clutches of Yaman. That's the thing, nothing is impossible for a woman. And for that, one has to raise to that level. Then only one can act perfectly like a Shakti, very, very much, powerful like a Bhavani. And if so happen, she can also perform the role of Mahashakti, work for the greater humanity, to bring out the entire humanity from the bondage of death. Thank you. I think it is time.
Okay, thank you, Professor Tripathy. It was indeed, wonderful. Whatever you have said, we need to give a political context to it, socio-political context, so that can, one can realize the relevance of it. Aurobindo is an anti-colonial activist. That means, when Aurobindo is conceptualizing women, Aurobindo indirectly, he is saying that there is a need of decolonizing womanhood. So when I'm saying decolonize, the process of decolonization has already started in different, aspects. Even that decolonization is also required in the context of womanhood as well. Now, if you see the woman, the status of women in Vedic period, in post-Vedic period, in modern period, post-modern period, can we say that the introspection of the status of women in a postmodern period is not required? Certainly, I think it is. If the moment you say that, it becomes deeply problematic. If I'll say that maybe the way things are going on, maybe we are entering to this state of nature. If you see the contractualist theorists, for them actually we are moving from state of nature to civil society. And civil society is not all about your legal power, constitutional power. It is also all about your moral power, your spiritualism, right? So
Yes.
can you think about civil society without spiritualism, without the moral side of marriage, love, or relationship, or even sex? There is also the moral aspect of the sex. So are we all realizing it, or we are ending everything like an animal? Right. So we have to rethink the position of Sabitri, whether the concept Sabitri is relevant for today's women or not. And also, there is another concept like Draupadi also. Draupadi has a different context. But in common language, I will say that Draupadi is a woman who is married to 5 men. So right now, marrying to 5 men is not permissible legally, but certainly you can have relationship, extramarital affairs with the 5 women, right? So I mean, which model is best for our women? Certainly, feminine qualities is very much important for the creation of social values, or for the establishment of the society. Even the male person must have some kind of feminine quality. That is also essential for the family building. I think the moment you keep yourself away from feminine qualities, whether mostly feminine qualities the female must have much than than her counterpart, but feminine qualities is actually needed for today for our own existence. And perhaps it is because of that reason I requested Professor Tripathy to give a talk, that we need to rethink, we need to reapproach the role of women. What should be the role of women? Should the woman play the role of Shakti? Should the woman play the role of Bhavani? Play the role of Mahashakti? This empowerment. A woman can have self-empowerment. There is nothing. I mean, no policy, no rules, regulations are required. And if you are not prepared yourself, I mean, if you are not prepared, even those rules and regulations will not help you, to make you, empower. So this is all. It is all about how you perceive yourself, right? So in fact, a family without any female is not a family at all. Right? So I respect the feminine qualities. Feminine qualities must be there. Even it is also required within the men. So thank you, Professor Tripathy. And I mean, you are an experienced woman, and whatever you have said, whatever research you have done, I think this was very much needed for today's men and women, especially women, so that we all can understand what is our responsibility and how we should rethink our thought and action. So thank you for that, for giving your input.
Himanshu, someone has a query, you see.
I'll come back. Before I come back to the questions asked or in the chat box, I want students, those who directly want to, ask to today's speaker. You can directly ask question to the speaker. Then I will come back to the questions, asked in the chat box. So anyone who can directly ask. Anyone? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for giving the opportunity. I'm very grateful to Madam for the engaging session. We are very indebted, Madam, for the valuable ideas that you have thrown light upon. I have a small query. Can we read Aurobindo's philosophy, Sri Aurobindo's philosophy, in light with transcendentalism?
Yeah, Sally, he's a spiritual seeker. He said all life is yoga. He has also said that from the, Sri Aurobindo himself says that I am a poet. I am a poet. And first and foremost, a poet. Spirituality is a part of his writing. Transcendentalism, as American transcendentalism we have read. Here in Hindu transcendentalism, we want to transcend the mundane life. And transcendentalism is a concept, of course, it is practiced by many people. That is, Gandhi also experienced this. He also wanted to transcend this mundane life. There is a desire in everyone to transcend and to get to such a level where the eternal bliss can be felt. Of course, his spiritualism is a kind of transcendentalism. He says through this process, one can refine the soul. He talks about a lot of, psychic changes. He talks about the transformation of human soul. Perhaps towards the end of his life, you will find that Sri Aurobindo, when became sick, he was not taking any medicine. He refused to take medicine. And his life, even after death, his body remained fresh for many days. Many things can be told, but you can learn everything from his life history. Read the life history. That's very important. Not autobiography. Others have written the biography of Sri Aurobindo. From his life, his practices, his activities, his interaction with a lot of people, his phases of life, childhood to till his death, you can understand that definitely there is transcendentalism. Phase by phase we transcend. The same Sabita Tripathy who is speaking to you now is not the same Sabita Tripathy of her childhood. And you are also changing. All of you, my students, you have changed a lot. When you came as PG student, you are no more that student. Every now and then there is changes going on. Maybe spirituality, we are transcending some kind of self. And we moving upward. All of us are moving upward. In Sri Aurobindo's book, there is no. No child is a zero. Every child has certain efforts at one's level to transcend. What we are doing, why we are reading literature is only to transcend this human life, which usually we think. When we get involved, we think that life is full of sorrow, dissatisfaction. Himanshu has a lot of grudge, and not grudge, complaint. Whenever Himanshu comes to me, he comes with a series of complaints. I said that, so I think Himanshu hereafter will stop complaining. No more complaining. What you want to do, you do it. God has given you life, which is the most, beautiful thing on earth. You got the life of a human being and pursue your dreams. Pursue if you want to change the society, change it by your own way. Those who will like you, they will follow you. Understand? So definitely this process is spiritual awakenment comes through a kind of transcendence.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Actually, I was slightly sorry, sir. Sorry to interrupt. I was slightly curious about this because while I was listening to you, other times also I have discussed with you about this philosophy of Aurobindo, and he has mostly located women in historical spaces and then transcended them to spiritual spaces. That is how the trajectory is formed, actually. As we have seen, that's why, Nari Shakti to Mahashakti, that particular union between the Mahashakti and some kind of the transcendentalist idea that comes in. That's why I was a little curious about it. Um, thank you very much, sir.
Okay, it was good. I mean, I also made a question relating to what Sally just reflected, that contextualizing women in history, then taking the woman to the spiritual level. I think I have also made a question that what is the practicality of Aurobindo's idea of women today, right? Today, I mean, the moment you contextualize women today, not history, how you can take them to the spiritual level.
See, this is a very, it always comes to your mind, I know. You told me that the women take different roles or play different roles in different contexts. We cannot generalize this term that what is the position of women now in post-modern age or in 21st century. What they should do, what they should not do. This is now we are living in a globalized world, and each and everyone is being influenced by other. Many trends have come and they have influenced the Indians. And in Indian context, because my speech was from Indian context. I don't know what is going on in European context, even though I am a teacher of English literature. What I can tell, such type of dialogues, such type of awareness, those who have forgotten the status of women, they should revive that. What is the status? What is the duty or feminine power? Feminine power is something, love, to give bliss, to bring unity, to create a very, very congenial environment in workplace, at home, and outside. Of course, many women are there in the society who sacrifice everything for the betterment of the family.
Today.
Yeah, there are many types of women. This type of woman I found, I myself I have found in my life. I am 60 now and I have found my mother working for the family only. She has sacrificed her comfort, her joy, everything. But the present woman, if you tell about these modern women, maybe they are misguided sometimes. I can only request them to come back to the main flow of life and to make everyone happy. She herself should also remain happy in the society. Should not be a home breaker, but a homemaker. And this is very important now. That's why so many writers are writing about the devilish women, the angel. Many people, definitely people like angel at home. not a devil at home. It has been told by Tolstoy. He said that if a family of a country is not happy, the country cannot make progress, because country is dependent on the peaceful family life of the citizens. So if you read this, novels of Tolstoy, you'll definitely understand that.
Okay, thank you, madam. I think Sally, she has raised her hand. And
Again,
let me tell you, Sally is working as a PhD scholar with Professor Tripathy. Sally,
she's working on women.
Okay, now you can. It's good actually.
Yes, sir.
It's
Actually,
good.
I
There
wanted.
should be a
I'm very
dialogue.
sorry, sir. Yes, actually, I wanted to respond to the idea that sir has thrown light on, Himanshu sir. Sir, I would like to respond to that. Actually, locating women in the historical spaces. If we look at Aurobindo, Shri Aurobindo, he wanted to locate women within the historical and cultural space of our nationalistic. That particular environment, that particular boundary. And with that, I was actually reading even Bankim Chandra. And then there I could see that women haven't been located within the historical spaces, rather they were located in spiritual spaces, because he could not afford to locate women within historical and political spaces. Now, coming back to this particular point that Sri Aurobindo's women, what idea do they portray today? Women today, if we look at Sri Aurobindo and the Holy Mother, looking at them, this thought occurred to me right now only, just a few moments before, a few minutes back. If we look at Sri Aurobindo and Holy Mother, that is a perfect combination of tradition and modernity. Holy Mother did not belong to India particularly. She has intruded into this country and has worked along with Sri Aurobindo and following his philosophy and principles. So from there, I would like to just draw your attention to one particular fact, that the image of women located within our nationalistic agenda was imaginated purely by men. That was a male imagination of you take for that matter you take Tagore, or for that matter you take Bankim Chandra or Keshav Chandra Sen or Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar or whoever, and even Aurobindo. If we take primarily, Aurobindo wanted to locate it into the historical space. Actually, that
Are
factor
you
of
are
time
you
has,
saying there was a purpose of contextualizing women either in spiritual context
yes,
or historical context,
yes, sir,
and
yes,
that
sir. They
purpose
had a
was
Mm.
national.
yes. Yes, yes. They wanted to empower women, actually. That is why we see that perfect blend between Holy Mother and his partnership, or his, as a helper or whoever to Aurobindo, if we see. It was a perfect example of a blend of tradition and modernity that together they had worked for. And
Okay, you are saying that Aurobindo belongs to tradition and the other belongs to the
no,
modernity.
one
That's what
belonged
you
to
are.
the particular Indian tradition and one belonged to the West. So the pioneers of I'm working on new women, sir. So the pioneers of particularly those who were fighting for the upliftment and emancipation of women were wanting to locate women within the nationalistic agenda. That is the whole idea of building a new nation. That is what they were wanting to build. Um,
Okay,
yes,
so
sir.
thank you. I got your idea. There is always a purpose of
Yes.
conceptualizing anything, and
Yes. Today we
Sally
have moved
brought
ahead.
a.
Today we have moved ahead with time. That is, we are in the
I
post-feminist
think
phase.
Sally has become more political than person from the literature. That's good. That's good idea. Politics is also a part of the literature.
But
Okay,
but
madam.
uh,
We'll.
but it's what I told. It is not from the political point of view. It's simply the how he has visualized women in his literary works. Absolutely, in the literary works of
That
Sri
is not
Aurobindo.
again interpretation, madam. I mean, you are interpreting in your own way, and maybe Aurobindo will say that. If Aurobindo,
Yes. I don't know. Your your interpretation is wrong. Of course. Mm, yes.
to another question asked by Nikita, that she's asking, ma'am,
Mm.
do, do you think that current feminist revolution fulfill their advocacy role on women's right and social awareness? I mean, what she is asking, that this feminist movement, whether it is really emancipating the woman, it is really, you know, talking about the woman rights in its true term.
See, a female can be a feminist, a male can also be a feminist. If we study what is feminism and how many waves of feminism have come upon our world, means first phase, third phase, there are different phases of feminism. But when this term came, feminist, you see, I can just simply tell that not from the intellectual point of view. Males, they have stopped helping women. Understand? They said that you are all feminist, you fight for your right, you are all very powerful, you are fighting for your right, you are fighting for your upliftment. Then you see, earlier when we were working, there was no such feelings, the male and female. A male was working for the female also. Sometimes you are tired, please sit for some time, I am doing your work. But now that feminist concept, which has grown so much, that has really uh, brought some cruelty in between man and woman.
Let me share a sentence which has been prepared by Sriya, I mean Santilata Sau. Women certainly need more space, not only on the dead pages of laws and regulation, but in the human hearts of men too. Right? So a
Yes.
feminist movement, if it wants to be successful, then it has to, deal with the issues of men. Right?
Of
So
course.
it has to create a space in the heart of men. Otherwise, if men will not help, if men will not accept, then what? There will be a civil war on the basis of gender.
Yeah,
Right. So
that will
if
happen. You
men-
see,
men-
I always believe in symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
I never think that's why the Shiva Shakti cannot be separated. That's why God created male and female, two kinds of human beings on earth. Yeah, Karubiki, I think Karubaki has raised her hand.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir.
Yes, you can ask a question. You can unmute your video so that we can see you. I mean, see your face.
Yes, sir.
Maybe the internet facility is not so good. That's why.
Then you continue.
Karubaki, you continue.
Definitely, the world would be a better place
No,
if common man would think like. Ma'am, am I audible?
Karubaki, you are audible, yes, but not clearly.
Karubak, okay, now you can
Yes.
ask. You
Yes,
mute
speak.
your video, then you ask.
Yes, sir. The world would definitely be a better place if common man would think like Sri Aurobindo. And women of this generation also connect themselves with Savitri. But why men do not try to be like Satyavan? And why writers are only
Yes.
encouraging women to do sacrifices and respond to the oneness with man, and nobody is taking any responsibility to teach man their roots, their duty, morality that our Indian culture preaches.
Okay,
Good.
it's actually a wonderful question. I can remember one sentence of my father. Generally, it is very easy to use the term patriarchal against a man than against a woman. Women are also patriarchal in many situations. Uh, you know, uh, if there is some problem with the man, and if there is some problem with the woman, which is very much dangerous for the society. My father and my grandfather also used to say that if there is problem with the woman, right? If woman becomes characterless, then the damage to a society, it will be heavier than in comparison to if there is some characterless problem with the man. It's very difficult to justify, but this is what being said by old people. Now, madam, you can respond to her question.
Okay, Karubaki, it's a good question. They cannot become Satyaban. Understand? There are also males in the society who are exactly like Satyaban. This is we are not coming in contact with such people. Maybe
Now,
more in number.
let me ask this question in other way. Satyavan is Satyavan because of Savitri, or Savitri is Savitri because of Satyavan?
Karubaki?
Sir, yes, sir. I feel like Savitri went to such an extent because she had a husband like Satyavan.
Mm.
So Savitri is lucky,
And
or
now
Satyavan is lucky?
it is actually
No,
Satyavan who is lucky.
to get a wife like Sabitri.
Then we appreciate Savitri. I mean, Savitri
Yes.
needs to
Yes,
be
sir.
good. See, man is always lucky if a man gets a very good woman. But generally, the requirement of a woman, the requirement of a man, I think it is not same. I mean, the same things both men and women, they don't want. Madam, you can interject. You
No,
can clarify.
actually, because Sabitri, of course, Sabitri is not only a Sakti to Satyavan. She also wanted to serve the country because she brought that country back for her in-laws. So she is also a stateswoman because she loves her country, loves the king, loves the kingdom, and also Satyavan. So Savitri is definitely a good, I mean, role model for women. And these women are role models. Sita, Savitri, Draupadi, these are all role models for us. Because in our mythology and scriptures, we are definitely guarded by such women. So I'll tell about Amrapalli. I did one Odia, sorry, All India Radio. Amrapalli.
Karubaki,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
let me make this sentence. If Savitri will be Savitri, then okay. If every woman will become Savitri, then automatically every man will become Satyavan. Okay.
Yeah. That's the right thing. That's absolutely correct.
Okay, I think Sally has agreed with me also.
No, it is correct. As
Okay, I mean,
you sow, so you reap.
actually, it's
Yeah.
very much reciprocal. Reciprocal. Okay.
And at the end, what we will find, you have to renounce everything. You want some kind of renunciation of all comforts, all relationship. Because a
So
woman plays various roles. And later on, towards the end of your life, that is the spiritual awakenment that unites male
so
and female.
thank you, Professor Tripathi. I think in this
It's time.
question answer session, I think the relevance of the topic becomes more vigilant to all of us. I think at any stage of your life there is always a requirement of self-introspection. So we have not reached the final truth. So every stages of human life, there are certain challenges, there are certain problems from our side, problems from their side. So we all are not, perfect. So we do not know what is truth. So certainly the spiritualism will help us to understand certain truth. So what you see, if you think that that is truth, then you are an empiricist. The greatest scientists, they are also, they think metaphysically as well. I mean, there are realities that you cannot see. There are hundreds, thousands limitations in a rational person, right? So we should always put a question mark to our own rationality. We have to go to the metaphysical level in order to understand certain forces, invisible forces. Then we should start thinking. We should start thinking about the solution. Okay, Santilata, you are the last person. Okay, so you will ask something and then we will end.
Yes.
I'll give
Yes,
you.
sir.
Okay, Santilata.
Ma'am, my question is that as we can see that in present society, we are not finding the bonding like Savitri and Satyavan and Shiv and Shakti, like that relationship. Then I want to know that what may be the solution and how we can re-establish like that relationship again.
Yeah, it's a very practical question. This is in your hand. We will try to modulate, and apply certain rules, regulations. We can find out some ways and means to have such a congenial, uh, to create a congenial environment in our society. Because yes, we cannot, because Sabita and Satyavan, they are role models, and we
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
follow them. That's why, why all these things are happening. The present children, the present day people, they are not taking interest in reading these scriptures. Our scriptures, our that mythology, they have a inherent power of transformation. And once we get not indulged, we get involved in learning these scriptural values, will definitely
No,
change
Santilata, I
ourselves.
mean, the suggestion what I, said to Karubaki, the same suggestion, you
Mm.
follow the principles of Savitri, then automatically you will get your Satyavan. Because Satyavan will not get any scope. Satyavan, all men has to be Satyavan. There is no other option. Because female has become Savitri. So then only
Yeah.
you can bring the Satyavan and Savitri. So everything is in your hand only. So that's why you are powerful. You are Shakti, Bhavani, Mahashakti. That is true. And I understand the relevance of feminine quality. So I'm convinced. I'm convinced feminine quality must be there and it is essential for societal progress. Right. So also masculine qualities are so required. I mean, women are always Shakti for the men. Right.
Yeah.
Women are always Shakti for the men. So
Deepanita has
every
written that mutual understanding. Mutual understanding.
no, it
So
is not.
okay.
I will say that it is a spiritual understanding. It's mutual. What mutual? I mean, you have to go to Srima and Aurobindo level. Then only mutual will come. Otherwise, that
Yes.
mutual means what? So I am not equal with Professor Tripathi. So can I have a discussion mutually with her? No. So I always, tell to my students that before you talk about equality, first think about quality. Whether I am at the quality or not. I mean, at par quality with the other person or not. Then only I will talk about equality. So, okay. So thank you. I mean, many more things will
Let
come.
us wind up.
So
It is
on
time.
okay, I'm just coming to that point. So on behalf of all, I'm thankful to Professor Tripathi. I mean, uh, she is the right person who can talk about all these issues because she is also an insider to this whole uh, debates or to this whole discourse. So thank you, Sabita Madam, for giving your time, giving your energy to all of us, and thank you all participants. I think you made this session more beautiful with your own questions, especially students from the English department. They are very good as usual. There is no doubt. of that.
Okay.
So
we'll
thank
meet
you.
again.
Thank you and good night. Good night.
Good night. And thank you, all my students.